Businesses are spending millions licensing the most advanced AI models on the market, expecting immediate, hands-free automation. But raw intelligence doesn't actually execute workflows. To understand why, it helps to look at modern AI like a biological system. Large language models, like GPT-4o or Claude 3.5 Sonnet, are strictly the brain. They handle logic, semantic reasoning, and language processing. On the left, we have the brain. To interact with the digital world, that brain needs a nervous system and hands. AI agents supply this body, granting direct access to your file system and the ability to execute terminal commands. Your operational success hinges directly on this hardware layer. If you want a workflow to function properly, you have to select the specific set of digital hands that matches your daily reality, rather than just defaulting to the smartest brain. We see a massive coordination tax when teams force the wrong tools into the wrong roles. Expecting a strictly interactive, desktop-bound tool to run an invisible background data pipeline leads to constant bottlenecks. Conversely, forcing non-technical staff to configure open-source orchestration environments just to draft an email creates complete friction. The setup overhead immediately erases any time saved. Look at this quadrant chart mapping the core architectural divide in AI workflows. On the y-axis, we map autonomy, ranging from synchronous real-time tasks to asynchronous background execution. The x-axis tracks the technical setup friction. Aligning your tools to these axes is a baseline requirement. Moving AI out of the experimental phase and turning it into a reliable enterprise asset requires matching the agent's architecture to your team's specific workflow. Let's bring that chart back and look at the bottom left quadrant, commercial desktop apps. Tools like Claude Cowork and ChatGPT Codex operate entirely within controlled proprietary ecosystems. They require almost zero configuration. You install an app or open a tab, and you instantly have a highly polished digital copilot ready to pair program, manipulate local files, or analyze data right in front of you. The cost of that convenience is presence. These agents are strictly synchronous. For the agent to interact with your computer, your desktop must remain awake, active, and running the application. If your laptop goes to sleep, the work stops. They also rely heavily on predefined system instructions. While they maintain standard text memories of your conversations, they do not dynamically write or rewrite their own underlying software tools based on new problems they solve. You get immediate, obvious return on investment. But the workflow is permanently tethered to human attention and the power state of your hardware. Returning to our chart, we move to the top right quadrant, open-source orchestrators like Hermes and OpenClaw. These operate as always-on infrastructure. These frameworks are built to run as headless background services. Using natural language scheduling, you can instruct them to pull staging repos or scrape competitors at 6 a.m. every day, executing entirely away from your computer keyboard. Because they natively bridge into chat gateways like Slack or Telegram, you can literally text a prompt from your phone while walking to get coffee. The agent spins up a session on your server and executes complex technical work entirely independently. By breaking the physical tether to a single workstation, you remove the human coordination tax. The tool stops acting like a chat window and starts acting like an autonomous factory line. This architecture enables what is known as a closed learning loop. When an open-source agent resolves a complex problem, it autonomously writes and saves a permanent, reusable script, often saved as a skill.md file. Instead of relying on static prompts provided by a commercial vendor, the agent actively learns your specific preferences across sessions. It dynamically builds a personalized, compounding library of behaviors tailored strictly to your operations. These frameworks also offer total model agnosticism. You are not locked into OpenAI or Anthropic's ecosystem. The specific hands you use are entirely decoupled from the corporate brain. If pricing changes or a more efficient open-source model drops, you can instantly route the agent's intelligence through local servers via Llama or to hundreds of cloud APIs, keeping your local tool integrations fully intact. This grants you completely independent operational control. However, creating permanent scripts on the fly means you must actively monitor the outputs to ensure the agent doesn't automate and compound flawed logic over time. That independence comes with a steep technical tax. Open source automation requires a completely different level of engineering capability to deploy. Instead of downloading a simple installer, you must manage Docker containers, configure your Linux runtimes, and maintain local cloud infrastructure to keep the daemon running. Open source agents allow you to bypass ecosystem walls, to deeply scan local databases, or run arbitrary system-level scripts. Without a commercial vendor sandbox in place, securing those local file permissions becomes your explicit responsibility. While the software itself is open source, keeping the infrastructure secure and operational demands significant ongoing IT investment from your organization. Mapping out your agent deployment starts with one non-negotiable question. Look at this decision tree. The central node asks, does the workflow involve proprietary or sensitive data? If yes, we follow the left path. If your team handles protected health information, corporate financial ledgers, or proprietary source code, sending that data through commercial cloud APIs introduces massive corporate risk. This is where you mandate a tool like NemoClaw. It acts as an isolated shell, sandboxing an agent like OpenClaw entirely on your local enterprise servers and explicitly blocking outward network connections. By wiring it directly to secure local models, zero corporate data ever hits a third-party public API log. You maintain strict audit trails and absolute data sovereignty. For highly regulated teams, prioritizing this infrastructure isolation over a polished commercial user interface is a mandatory security requirement. If the data is not sensitive, we follow the no path to our second metric. Is the task an interactive desktop workflow, or is it background automation? For standard business units, marketing, sales, or general admin, doing everyday writing or analysis, the answer is usually interactive. You should deploy commercial desktop ecosystems like Claude Cowork or ChatGPT enterprise tiers. This route yields instant productivity and requires zero infrastructure management, but you actively sacrifice the ability to run always-on, invisible pipelines. The modern AI stack requires you to stop looking for a universal, one-size-fits-all agent. Success requires matching the specific tool directly to your data boundaries and your attention constraints. Pay for commercial polish when your team needs an interactive partner at their desk, but to automate invisible operational pipelines, invest in open source orchestration.